I guess I'm live. Good. That's what I want it to be. you know? So, yeah, you already know what it is if you can't tell. Once I get a couple of people to come in and, come and chop it up with me, we can get into some things. We can get into this Michael movie, this Michael biopic. Yep. Don't let nobody tell you nothing about this movie as far as like negative things. Yeah. Don't don't listen to the crowd. What's the Rotten Tomatoes score right now? I got my laptop right here, so just in case I have to do any last minute, you know, um last minute research. Hold on. Looks like it's at 35%, I believe. Whatever it is, who cares? Who cares? They lying. Don't let them lie to you, y'all. Don't let them lie to you. Don't let them lie to you. The Rotten Tomatoes score, whatever, means nothing at the end of the day. It's a bunch of haters. It really, really is a bunch of haters on there. I'm convinced. I'm convinced because the second they got a chance to go and see this movie and open their mouth and do a review, all of the reviews are bad. All of the reviews are negative. Come on now. I'm not saying all, I'm just being I'm exaggerating a little bit. Obviously, not all the reviews are bad, but for it to be at 35% and what I'm hearing the most, what I'm hearing over and over and over again. Y'all like my shirt? The man, the myth, the legend. I love it because the cut the cut shows off my mother's tattoo. That's my mother's name right there, who I lost in 2023. So I went and I got her name. I want to do more, but just for now, I have her name right there so that she's always on my shoulder. And I love this shirt because it displays her name perfectly. But anyway, rest in peace to her. Rest in peace to Mike. Do not let this Rotten Tomatoes score. Hey, Gene Joseph. Do not let this Rotten Tomatoes score tell you or dictate your life. Do not let this Rotten Tomatoes score dictate whether or not you go and see the Michael biopic. This is what I'm here to tell you because I just watched the movie. Braylon, I'm sorry. the letters are very small, so please forgive me. Braylon, thank you. I appreciate you. They came in. Braylon came in hot. Braylon came in and was like, yo, I hit the like and I subscribed. I didn't even open my mouth yet, barely. And Braylon said, I hit the like and I subscribed. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, Braylon, Gene Joseph, and everybody else that's in this chat or in this live right now, I'm here to tell you, don't let Rotten Tomatoes dictate your life. They're a bunch of haters. And I'm going to tell you what I've been hearing in these internet streets the most from the critics. Mostly what I've been hearing is this movie makes Michael too perfect. Oh, it's all the good stuff. It's nothing bad. I woke up this morning, literally woke up this morning. I'm a sports fanatic a little bit. I'm a football fan a lot of bit. I'm a big Cowboys fan. And so I get a lot of like sports channel suggestions and stuff on my feed. And I woke up this morning to like check the news and do my daily routine. And a suggested video popped up on my feed, which was from a sports-oriented channel that gets a lot of views. Very popular. They're like with they're like with former players and stuff like that, talking about football, talking about sports. Basketball is really big right now because it's basketball playoff season, so they talk about that. But the caption of the video was like, the Michael movie wasn't good or something like that. So I clicked on it because I'm like, these are football dudes and they talk about the Michael movie. I would love to hear what they have to say. And it's like a room of 4 grown men. I think the name of the show is Speak Easy, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Speak Easy. 4 weirdos sitting around in a room arguing about they want to see the bad. I want to see the bad. I want to see the negative. I want to see the bad. Like, what do you mean when you say you want to see the bad? What exactly do you mean? What is the bad? I'm assuming what you mean is you want to see this movie delve into Michael Jackson's legal troubles. You mean when he was accused of doing things to kids and was never convicted? It was allegations and accusations and 0 convictions. Shout out to Cat Williams. He said it before. He said, you see me in court a lot, but I don't never get convicted. You understand what I'm saying? Shout out to Cat Williams. Same thing goes for Michael Jackson. These 4 weirdos sitting around talking about, I want to see the bad. Why they ain't show us nothing bad? The movie just made it look so good. It made him look so good. If you made a movie about your life, the day somebody wants to make a movie about your life, them 4 weirdos on Speak Easy, or at least the ones that was saying they want to see bad stuff about Michael Jackson. Well, when it's your turn to make your biopic, you go ahead and put all the bad stuff about your life in your biopic. First of all, I have so much to say about that because they're not the only ones. I'm going to read to you what they said in Isla Ritter says, girl, you are so pretty. I appreciate that. Chico Anonymous says, oh, deaf. So I don't know if they're saying like they're deaf or they mean deaf like definitely. You know what I'm saying? Holla at me, Chico. And if you're deaf, I'm sorry. I know all my letters like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I can sign my letters, but I cannot do American Sign Language. I can't do sign language. Shout out Free Society. I got one of my mods in the building. I got one of my personal producers in the building. I didn't even introduce myself. My bad, because I'm fresh out the theater. I told you I was gonna go live. Fresh out the theater. I'm fresh out the theater. I didn't even like really introduce myself. My name is UGoddess. Yes. And I am an artist. Check out my page, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. But really, I'm here to talk about this movie. And I'm here to talk because it's upsetting to see some of the critics' reviews this early. Now, I went to an advanced screening, and the movie does not officially come out until Friday. But if you was paying attention, you would know that they had advanced screenings, and you could go and see this movie early. And as soon as I found out about it, I jumped on it. I put on my shirt, you know what I mean? I put on my Smooth Criminal hat. I can't put it on because it's white and it's going to mess up the green screen, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? You get the idea, right? I put on my Smooth Criminal hat. I put on my Michael Jackson tee, and I took my ass to the movies. Now, Rolling Stone says this: the Jackson estate is literally banking on your fond memories of hearing the King of Pop's music at the expense of other, more complicated thoughts about him. So what are they saying? They're saying that we are so dumb, the audience, the viewing audience is so dumb that we're going to get in there and we're going to hear Michael Jackson music, and it's going to hypnotize us and take us to a place of fantasy where we forget everything else that exists in Michael Jackson's world. And they're goddamn right. That's exactly what the movie was for. That's exactly what the movie was supposed to be about. What you wanted to see. I'm so confused. I really want to know. The people that keep saying they didn't show us anything bad. They didn't show us anything bad. Let me just tell you like this. There will be spoilers in this live. I should have put it in the in the description. There will be spoilers. If you don't know anything about Michael Jackson life by now in 2026, then you deserve to get spoiled. So, the first allegation of a child against Michael Jackson did not come until 1993. This movie ends in 1988. So all those people crying and whining about how come they didn't put the allegations in the movie, how come we didn't see nothing bad? You just made him look so perfect. You made him look like a victim. How come you didn't put nothing bad? They didn't get there yet. And if you knew anything, and if you did your research, and if you knew anything about this movie, you will know that originally they had planned to delve into the allegations. Free. You feel me, Free? You feel me? Originally, they were going to delve into the allegations. However, there was a clause in the lawsuit with the original accuser from way back in 93 that said that after this settlement is over, after this case is done, you are not allowed to speak about me, talk about me, make no movies about me. You're not allowed to write no books about me. Don't mention me. Don't say my name. And the estate, the Michael Jackson estate, has to respect and honor that. It is a legal binding agreement that they are not allowed to bring up those type of things, especially in a movie or a book or anything like that. They just can't do it. So what y'all really want? Y'all want to go to Never Never Land. That's really what it is. The people who are like, oh, it's so good and there's nothing bad. Y'all just want to go to Never Never Land. Y'all want to go in Michael Jackson's bedroom. You want to go in Michael Jackson's bed. And I'm worried about y'all. I'm worried about y'all because why? You feel me? Hold on. Because why? Then they bringing up other biopics. Okay, so the Elvis biopic, they were like, oh, you know, with Elvis, they showed that he was on drugs. They showed that, you know, he got married to a young girl. They didn't show all the bad stuff of Elvis's life. I promise you. I watched the Elvis biopic too. That movie, everybody was falling all over themselves for that movie. They gave every Oscar you could give. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was saying how the boy who played Elvis totally embodied him. He was the second coming of Elvis, and everybody loved that movie. Even though Elvis was sleeping with allegedly. I'm not gonna say he was sleeping with her because his wife, what's her name? Not Lisa Marie, that's the daughter. Priscilla Presley has always maintained that Elvis, even though they were dating when she was 14, he waited until she turned 18 to sleep with her. Those are her words. She stood on that and she's never changed her story. And that's totally possibly true. But we all know that Elvis had a thing for young girls. If you know anything about Elvis and his history and his story, he had a thing for young girls. He always liked girls very young. And that's like a known fact. But they want this to be the sole central focus of a biopic, and that's just not what it is when you're dealing with someone of a magnitude of an Elvis Presley, someone of a magnitude of a Michael Jackson, someone of the magnitude of Freddie Mercury, like Bohemian Rhapsody. The fans of the Bohemian Rhapsody, of the group Queen, didn't like the Bohemian Rhapsody movie because the diehard fans said they didn't depict Freddie Mercury the way how he really lived his life, and they made him look totally different than what he really was. They watered down his personality and they made it seem like he was the problem and all these other things. No one is going to 100%, you're not going to be able to satisfy the fans of someone of a magnitude and a stature of a Michael Jackson, a Freddie Mercury, or Elvis Presley. There's just no way. There's just no way. But to sit here and throw shit at this movie within seconds of it coming out, Free says, crazy how even after Mike's death, they still want to kill him. He's not, you know, they're never going to let him live. Even in his death, they don't want to let him live in peace because here they are putting out a movie. This is a little boy that been in the entertainment industry his whole life. and he died at 50. So let's say he started performing at the age of 5. You want them to put 45 years of a man's life. And this is not just no regular degular man. This ain't no regular Joe off the street. This is Michael Joseph Jackson. You want them to squeeze 45 years of his life into a 2-hour film. The movie stops in 1988, y'all. The movie stops when he was singing Bad. So here's my issue. Everybody's talking about show us the bad stuff, show us the bad stuff. They started literally with him getting beat on by his father with a belt. They started with little baby, tiny little Mike practicing in the living room on Jackson Street in Gary, Indiana, with his brothers before anybody even knew who they was. And the father, Joseph, was making them practice and making them sing and making them dance and turning them into this perfect little machine. But in order for him to turn them into this machine, he used corporal punishment. He took off his belt and he whooped them, and he whooped Michael. Is that the bad that you want to see? Because they show you that. Okay, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. If you didn't know Michael was getting beat by his father, spoiler alert, he was. Okay. Michael Jackson has done interviews. Hey, Mozella. Hey, Mozella Brian. Thank you for stopping by and thank you for saying hi. My name is UGoddess. This is a semi-lyrics and levels episode on my channel. I'm an artist. You can check me out. All my music is available worldwide. And I'm here to talk about Michael, the movie, fresh out the theater. Mozella, thank you. I appreciate that. Mozella says I'm beautiful. And hey, I appreciate that. I really do. I feel beautiful, not on the outside, on the inside. I feel all warm and satisfied on the inside because I feel like I just came from a Michael Jackson concert and I've never seen Michael Jackson live. I wish that I could have seen him live. Let's talk about Jafar. Let's start there. Let's start with Jafar. My initial thoughts on Jafar Jackson, the son of Jermaine Jackson, Michael Jackson's nephew, when I saw the previews and I saw the trailers dropping, I thought to myself, he don't look like him. I kept hearing everybody say, oh my God, he looks just like him. Oh my God, he looks just like him. And I was like, is it just me? Is it just me? Because I'm like, I don't think he looks like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt bad because I didn't see it. Like when he was in the studio with Quincy Jones and he was starting to record Off the Wall or Thriller. And I just thought, they put the big, Play-Doh nose on his face. And I just didn't see it. But then again, I thought about it. I've had time to sort of digest all of this. And I thought to myself, maybe the reason why I didn't really see it. Well, first of all, he don't look like him like that. But I don't really know 80s Mike like that. I don't really know 80s Mike like that. I more so know light-skinned Mike. Me and light-skinned Mike is like this. 90s Mike. We like this. But brown-skinned Mike, I don't really know him like that. I know the music, but I wasn't really front row and center for 80s Mike like that. You know what I mean? So everybody knows Michael Jackson's music, but I just don't have like real hardcore memories of 80s Mike the way I have of light-skinned Mike. So Mozella says her boyfriend said the same thing about the resemblance. Yeah, I just didn't see it. And people are like oohing and eyeing and gooing and guying about how Jafar looked just like him. And I was like, no, he doesn't. Now, I go to see the movie and I still feel the same way. Baby Mike, they had Baby Mike from the Jackson 5. That little boy, he was a cute little black little boy. Michael Jackson was a cute little black boy. Like, he was just adorable. Just, You just want to, one of these. Like, he was adorable. The little boy who played him, also adorable. I don't know if that was his real voice singing. Not when they were playing the songs, but when he was like singing with no music and just practicing. I don't know if that was that little boy's real voice. I haven't done enough research to know that yet. But if it was, good Lord, that little boy is talented. If it wasn't his voice, we already know Michael Jackson as a little boy could sing. So this boy who portrayed him in the movie could also, if that was his voice, he also could really, really, really sing. So Jafar, when he grows up, obviously they transition from the little boy to Jafar Jackson, and I'm still looking like, I don't see it, y'all. But I'm trying to like get into this movie. Like, let me just let this movie take me over. Let me just get lost in this movie. I don't see the resemblance, but I'm gonna just get lost in it. You know what I mean? And Mozilla is saying, would you be willing to do some work on a soundtrack? Mozilla says, soundtrack work, we would love to feature you. This film work, my boyfriend would love to support you. And have you done soundtrack work? If you would or could. Okay, so Mozilla, I love everything you talking about right now. I would say inbox me, find me on Instagram and inbox me, DM me, and let's talk. Let's talk about this soundtrack that you're talking about. Find me on Instagram, same name, UGoddess the Poet. You'll find me on there and hit me up. So I just allowed myself, I appreciate that. I just allowed myself to get lost in Jafar. Like, let me just let Jafar win me over, because I really wasn't like in it all the way as far as the looks. However, his voice, OMG, he sounds just like him. Like, if you know Michael Jackson, if you know Michael Jackson's voice, if you're used to like listening to his interviews and listening to him speak the way that I am, you know that was Michael Jackson's voice talking, but it wasn't. It was Jafar. That's where I give that boy an A++++. His voice, he bodied that. He sounded just like him. Didn't look just like him. Not right away. And then I let myself sort of, and Mozilla agrees with me, and Free Society says, let's get it done. So, hey, Mozilla, Free Society Beats, who you see, my mod in the building right now, he's my producer. He makes like the majority of my music. So, this could be a thing. This could be a thing. So definitely hit me up on Instagram. Ephesians 3:20. Ooh, you make me want to look that up. Hold on, Ephesians. Hold on. You ain't gonna come in here with scriptures and think I'm not about to look it up. Ephesians 3:20. And it says, now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. This emphasizes that God's power is limitless, exceeding human requests or imagination, and operates through the divine power active within believers. Amen and amen. Ephesians wants to know, was the storyline a montage of memories as Michael was in the studio? So yeah, I was talking about why people are mad, Ephesians, because people are, the critics are saying, oh, they didn't show anything bad. They only showed the good stuff. Yeah, because Joseph beating the brakes off of Michael Jackson when he was this big. Yeah, that's the good stuff. I don't know what kind of childhood y'all had, but to me, I don't think that's the good stuff. But whatever, I digress. I'm on Jafar now. I would say that the storyline literally is about Michael Jackson from the age of however old he started in the Jackson 5. I believe he was 5 or 6, 7, somewhere around there. 5 through 9, those ages, from the time he started performing with the Jackson 5 all the way through 1988, 86 through 88. The end of the Victory Tour when he toured with his brothers and he got burnt in the head on doing the Pepsi commercial until he went solo, and then it just stops. It just stops. So for all of those critics that's out there, not y'all, I'm not talking about y'all, but the Rolling Stone and all those Rotten Tomato critics that's like, why you didn't show? Because the movie stops before any of the court stuff happened. He was still living with his mama when the movie stopped. Okay? He was still living at home. Okay? Scared of his father and scared to break away from the Jackson 5. He didn't even want to do the Victory Tour. That's what really breaks your heart, is to know that he didn't even want to do that tour. He didn't even want nothing to do with it, but he was like, let me just do this one last thing and then I'm gone, I swear. And then that's when he got burnt doing the Pepsi commercial. You know what I'm saying? But Jafar grew on me, y'all. Because I promise you, the whole time when I'm watching the previews, I'm watching the trailers, and I'm saying, I don't see it. I don't see it. By the end of this movie, I saw it. He really did transition into Mike. I mean, it's his uncle, so he's got the Jackson blood. All right, Mozella, UGoddess the poet on Instagram. UGoddess the poet. Ephesians says, whoa, can't wait to see it. Thank you for your feedback. You're very welcome. If you don't want to hear spoilers, you should probably, close one ear and watch with one eye. Because I'm just going to just talk openly and candidly about the movie and my thoughts on the movie and the performances. But Jafar really did transform into Michael Jackson. There were times, and it sounds so cliche, but I promise you there was times where if you look at him at the right angle and the right lighting at the right moment when he was making the right movement, he looked like Michael Jackson. He did. They did a good job. Not the whole way through. I mean, obviously, Michael Jackson is someone who cannot be duplicated. You can't really duplicate anybody. Rami Malek, he did a great job sort of portraying Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody. He won the Oscar and all of that. They did make him look just like him. And one of the things that was like kind of, mystifying and that made the whole thing so intriguing and amazing was the Live Aid concert. You know what I'm saying? How it ended on a Live Aid concert. And if you go like frame by frame with Bohemian Rhapsody, you look up the actual Live Aid concert and you play it frame by frame with the movie, they didn't miss. They didn't miss. So even if he didn't look like him, it's just the fact that they made it appear as if you was watching the real thing. And that's how they get you. No one's ever going to look exactly like a person. You know what I'm saying? So my expectations, I should have brought those way down. Nobody's ever going to look exactly like a person. It's like Angela Bassett playing Tina Turner. Angela Bassett doesn't look like Tina Turner, but did we care that Angela Bassett didn't look like Tina Turner? No, because her and Lawrence Fishburne, they tore that movie up. They tore it up. Willie Draper from American Dream. Yes, the Jackson 5. Didn't he pass away? Oh, and Ice Cube's son, O'Shea, right? O'Shea. He played him in Straight Outta Compton. Good Lord. Yeah. He looks just like his daddy. He looks just like his daddy. It can happen, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they put the Jerry curl on him and he transformed into Ice Cube. I mean, that is father and son. You know what I mean? So he had a better shot at transforming into the person he was portraying than Rami Malek turning into Freddie Mercury. But he did it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, that Live Aid concert, it was frame by frame. And that's sort of what you need to do Yes, that Mr. Draper did pass away, and he did a lovely job portraying Michael Jackson. He really, really did. Now, Jafar is his nephew, so he's got the Jackson blood. He's got the DNA. This is his brother's son. You know what I'm saying? So he's not an actor. I believe that he was a performer of some sort, but nothing like this. He's never done anything like this, and he killed it, y'all. He did. He did. It's never going to be perfect. It's a Bob Marley quote. I don't know who else said it, but I just know that I attribute it to Bob Marley. You can, you know how he says, you can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all of the people all of the time. Yeah. No one's ever going to be 100% satisfied with this movie. But if you just get lost in it, if you're a fan and you just want to get lost in some Michael Jackson goodness, then you will appreciate this movie and you will appreciate the performances in this movie. I'll tell you one thing I didn't appreciate. Two things that I didn't appreciate, and that's it. Two things. I have two negatives. The first negative is that it ended when it ended, and it ended how it ended. That was kind of two things in one, but it's really one. I hate that it ended how it ended, but I understand that they sort of, it literally looks like they just cut, like they ran out of tape. It almost feels like. But if they promise me that there's going to be a part two that picks up in the 90s, and we get a whole movie about Mike from the 90s up until the day he died, and yes, the sexual assault allegations, everything. You can't leave that stuff out. I'm not saying that they should leave that stuff out. I'm just saying that the critics that are crying that they left it out need to also explain to the viewers, because some people haven't seen this movie yet. Explain to them that the movie ended before that part of his life happened. It's not like they left it out because they're trying to act like it didn't happen. Like, come on. Let's be fair about this. They left it out because it didn't happen yet. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I look forward to, if they promise me that there's going to be a part two, then I will let the fact that it ended the way it ended, I'll let it slide. I'll let it slide. But it literally just ended like 1988 and it was over. And we know Mike has so much more life to live. He has so much more to do, so much more to accomplish, and so much more life to live. So this cannot be the end. This cannot be the end. Is this the end? This cannot be the end. I hope it gets nominated for a lot of stuff, Ephesians, because at the end of the day, every time there's a biopic like this of somebody of this magnitude of a star, it usually does get all of the awards. Not like wins all of the awards, but gets at least nominated for all of the awards. And I believe Jafar deserves something. I'll get into the other characters in a minute. Second nitpick of the movie. I hated, the first one was I hated the way it ended, but I'll let it slide if they give me a part two. Because you cannot do a biopic about Michael Jackson and not do light-skinned Mike. You just can't. It's impossible. The 90s Mike was a whole different animal. I'm talking musically. I'm talking his artistry. I'm talking his creativity. I'm talking his performance. And I'm talking the way how his life sort of changed and the way how he had to pivot and the way how he had to live his life because of how huge he became. We got to see the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? We got to see. It's just not over. We can't end it in 88. The movie was only 2 hours long. So we need more free. We need more. So my first nitpick was I don't like that it was only 2 hours long and that it ended in 88. And my second nitpick is LaToya Mother Jackson. LaToya, could you get out the movie, please? LaToya, can you please get out of every scene? Okay. So this is the thing. When I stayed until the credits, I stayed until the lights came on, I stayed until the screen went black and there was nothing else going on. A lot of us did. We all stayed. We were singing, we were clapping, and we was not going to leave that theater until we were sure that that movie was 100% done. So I don't know if y'all know this, but all of the brothers, and well, I won't say all of the brothers, but all of the family was not 100% behind this movie. We know that Paris, Michael Jackson's daughter, did not co-sign this movie. She did not sign off on it. She actually threw her hands up and said she didn't want nothing to do with it. And she has that right, right? Janet, who's actually kind of close to Paris and was super close to Mike, said she didn't want nothing to do with the movie either. She said with love. She didn't want nothing to do with the movie. She didn't throw no shade. She ain't put no negativity around it. She ain't make no statements about it. She just politely declined. Paris Jackson politely declined. The only time she came out and had something to say was when she felt like her name was being placed in some untruths, because Coleman Domingo had made a statement. Coleman Domingo, who plays Joseph Jackson, had made a statement in the media stating that him and Paris had chopped it up, and she gave him the green light, and she gave him a thumbs up and told him that all was well. And she just wanted us to know that that was not the case. Another one of my mods is in the building. Shout out to Landlord from Alabama in the building. I'm talking about the Michael movie. Fresh out the theater reaction, fresh out the theater review. So we know that Paris Jackson wasn't about this movie. And we know that Janet Jackson said she didn't want nothing to do with this movie. We know that Janet was very, very, very close to Mike. Like, if you watch old videos, old, home videos, it's always Janet and Mike. It's always Janet and Mike. Like, they were very close. And Janet said she didn't really want anything to do with it. So that's fine. There was like, how many brothers and sisters in the Jackson family? 9 of them. There was 9 of them. 6 boys and 3 girls, I believe. So Janet and Rebe, the other sister, said they didn't want nothing to do with it, right? And there were 6 boys, because that's where you get the Jackson 5 plus the little brother that they added in on the end. So it was really 6 of them. Okay. LaToya is all up in this movie. And then when I read the credits, I see that she was one of the producers on the movie, so it makes sense. But it's like, come on, LaToya, you inserted yourself way too much in this movie. Like, she's in a few scenes where she did not really need to be there. And it's like, it made it so obvious that it's like, where's the other sisters? We know he got 3 sisters, so why do we just keep seeing you? We don't see Rebe, we don't see Janet, because they said they didn't want nothing to do with the movie. So LaToya made sure that they wrote her into a few scenes that she really did not need to be in. But she was an executive producer. She did raise her hand and say she wanted to be a part of the movie. So she gets to be in a few scenes where we really did not need her presence there at all. So seeing LaToya the 4 or 5 times that I saw her in this movie really was starting to bother me. It was like, LaToya, again? Like, why are you here? Vegan DeLupe wants to know, are what the critics saying true? Is the movie actually trash? If you ask me, Vegan, the critics are a bunch of flaming haters. They're haters. They're hating on this movie, and I don't know why. They trying to sabotage the opening weekend. Well, I'm telling you why. They trying to sabotage the opening weekend numbers. They don't want this movie to do well. They are trying to sabotage this movie. They went and they saw it, and before they even finished watching it, they were saying that this movie is trash. It's got a super low rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got like a 30% rating, 35% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's unfair, it's unwarranted, and it's not right. I promise you. And everybody has a right to their own opinion, but you're not going to know if the movie is good if you don't go see it. If you're a Michael Jackson fan, you're going to like the movie. If you was going to see this movie to see Michael Jackson in Never Never Land laying in the bed and jumping up and down with little boys in his bed, this movie is not for you, because that's not what this movie is. It's about Michael Jackson as a child being abused by his father in order to become the mega star that he became all those years later. And it ends in 88. We got so much more Michael Jackson to discover and learn about and see and love and admire and be in awe of. It's not over. It ends when he finishes touring. I did this for y'all and now I'm done. Like, I gotta go. Thriller was Off the Wall already out. Bad all go into a whole nother stratosphere of superstar when the movie just ends. So sorry if you were wanting to see, sexual allegations and all that stuff. It's not there. And like I said, it's not that it's not there because they're hiding it. It's just not there because it didn't happen yet. He didn't even move out the house yet. He don't even got Neverland yet. So y'all gotta wait. He didn't even get Neverland yet. You know what I'm saying? So we talked about Jafar. I apologize to you, Jafar. I didn't, but by the time we got halfway through this movie, I started to see it more and more and more. So, okay, the dad is, Joseph is intimidating. He's scary. He gets, talks to him like he's like this with him. He's like in his face. Don't do. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to do what I told you to do. And meanwhile, Mike's like, I just want to be my own person. I just want to be my own artist and go off and do my own thing. Like, he wanted to break away, but the dad, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what this movie is about. It's about him escaping his to be the Michael Jackson that we know and love. And if you don't know and love him, this movie ain't for you, but you should still go see it because it'll, you know what I'm saying? It might just change your mind. It might just change your mind. A lot of people didn't like that Elvis used to sleep with teenage girls, but they loved that movie. You know what I mean? They loved the actor that played him. I can't remember the boy's name right now. I want to say Butler. I can't remember the first name. Am I right? Am I close? Yeah, please hit the like. I'm just talking, y'all. I'm just fresh out the theater, fresh with emotions. I took some notes because I want to make sure that I don't forget certain things to talk about. I did take some notes. You want to hear the songs that you hear in the movie besides the Jackson 5? You're going to hear some Jackson 5 throwbacks. Those were always fun. The little boy who played Michael Jackson as a child, fantastic little boy. I think his name is Giuliano something. He did such a good job. But the songs that you're going to see performed by Jafar, and every time he performed a song, every time he did another song, he just started getting closer and closer to Michael Jackson. He just started getting closer and closer to the essence of Michael Jackson for me, because I was already not all the way bought in. You understand what I'm saying? This is coming from someone who went in as a skeptic. I'm letting you know. The songs you're going to see him perform or hear and see him sort of develop and that you can sort of sing along to are Wanna Be Starting Something. Got to be starting something. Want to be starting something. You're going to see that. You're going to see Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. You're going to see Beat It. You're going to see Thriller. And you know you're going to see Thriller because if you've seen the trailer, you know you're going to see Thriller. And the making of the video for Thriller, you're going to see that and Goosebumps. I don't know. If you a fan, go see this movie tonight. You're going to see Billie Jean and hear Billie Jean. You're going to see and hear Human Nature. And when he's saying Human Nature, Jafar, like, he did it concert style. You know what I'm saying? And tell him that it's human nature. Why did he do me that way? And if you know the way that Mike performs Human Nature, you know, whenever he goes, looking out, you know what I'm saying? Like, You just gotta see it. You gotta see it. If you're a fan, please go see it. Human Nature, and then the last song that he performs is Bad. So it is like being at a little mini Michael Jackson concert. Rico, another one of my mods, is in the building. Cheers, Rico. Hey, salud. This one's for you. So you'll see those movies, those songs. Wanna Be Starting Something, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Beat It, Thriller, Billie Jean, Human Nature, and Bad. You're going to see the making of the video for Beat It. You're going to see the making of the video for Thriller. And that's just dope within itself. If y'all don't know, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. If y'all don't know, Michael Jackson used actual for real Crips and Bloods from the hood and brought them in to be in the Beat It video. So that is shown to you in the movie as well, how he went and got the gang members and brought them in, and he was like, music is gonna bring us all together. And he did it. For that day, they were Crips, they were Bloods, but they was in a video together, all in the name of Michael Jackson. And you know, that will go down in history. You know what I'm saying? I got emotional a couple of times. The 2 times that tears welled up in my eyes. These are the 2 times that tears welled up in my eyes. When Michael was little. For those weirdos on Speakeasy this morning that was saying they want to see the negative, they don't want to just see the positive. When Michael was little, there was a scene of him looking out the window and watching little kids play in the street. Now, if y'all know anything about Michael Jackson, what's the one thing that he always say he never had? A childhood, right? He always says this. He says it in his music. He says it in his interviews. He's always talked about, yes, he became a mega superstar, but he, at the price of what? At the price of having a normal childhood. And that's why the movie sort of lays the foundation for why he was so childlike as a man. He just never could let go of the fact that he never got to play like other little kids. He never got to go to amusement parks like other little kids. And then when he got super famous, he really couldn't do nothing like a normal teenager or a normal kid because he was Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? His brothers didn't have it as bad because they weren't Michael Jackson, but his brothers were famous too. You know what I'm saying? So seeing him staring out the window and just looking at the little kids as they're playing ball in the street, you know, and having a good time. And his father is like, Michael, you know, get back in here and come practice, you know, and his father's like holding the belt buckle. That right there is laying the foundation, if you didn't already know, that he wanted so badly to be a child, a regular child. But at the same time, don't get me wrong, and I was just talking about this off camera, it's like you became a superstar because of your father doing these things to you. And that doesn't make it right, but it is like, if he wasn't so tight on him, Rico, if he wasn't on him like that, would we have the Michael Jackson that wanted the perfection, that was so structured, that wanted to make sure everything was just right? The artist that we had, I was going to say today, but we don't have him anymore. The artist that we lost all those years ago, would we have him if it wasn't for the abusive father? It's a terrible way to look at it, but this movie does make you see that. And Joseph even said it in the movie, Coleman Domingo. He's like, all of this is because of me. It's because of me. And I'm kind of like, well, yeah, it kind of is because of you. Because, okay, think about the Selena biopic. Another great biopic. It's the only good thing Jennifer Lopez ever did in her life was do the Selena movie. After that and before that, I don't know. Yeah, she was on In Living Color, but as far as acting is concerned, Selena is the best thing and the only good thing she ever did in her life. Think about Selena. her father was on her too. You know what I'm saying? Like she eventually broke away and went and eloped with her husband because she wanted to break free from her father. Now, I'm not saying that her father is the same as Joseph Jackson because I don't think there's any allegations that her father was beating on her. But Joseph was beating on those kids, and look what happened. You know what I'm saying? If he would have been like, all right, you don't want to sing? No problem. Go play outside. There would be no Jackson 5. If Selena's father, when she was like, Daddy, I don't want to sing, I want to go play. If he would have been like, you know what, Selena, you're right. Go play with your friends. Vámonos, mija. If he would have did that, we wouldn't have Selena. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes parents do have to crack down on their children when they see that light inside of them. Another similarity, now that I'm talking about Selena, another similarity between Selena and Joseph and Michael Jackson's dad, Selena's dad and Michael Jackson's dad, is that they both were in bands when they were younger. So it's almost like a little bit of, are you forcing your failed, childhood desires and wants onto your children because you didn't make it? It's a little bit of that, but it's also a little bit of, he could see it in him. He knew Michael was talented. He knew he could sing. He knew he could dance. He knew that little boy was special. He didn't have to beat him with a belt, but he beat him to maintain the control over him. But he's seen the twinkle in that little boy's eye from a very, very early age. And so he stayed on top of him. And now we know we have Michael Jackson because of it. Doesn't make it right. That's just the real story behind it. I talked about how they force-fed LaToya down our throats. LaToya, you need to really take several seats. You really do. But I understand, but it don't make it right. Bubbles was in this movie. You know what I'm saying? Because what they were trying to do, again, laying the foundation of, he didn't have a normal childhood. He longed for a normal childhood. He wanted that childhood so bad, and he couldn't have one. And so he made friends with animals. And that's why he always kept animals around him, because by the time he was old enough to, make friends, he couldn't really make friends because he was a superstar. He was in the Jackson 5. He was on TV. He's traveling all over the world at a very young age. No Rebe and no Janet. The only sister that signed on to be a part of this project was LaToya. So I feel like, Rico, they force-fed LaToya a lot, just so that she could be in some scenes. You know what I'm saying? All the brothers were represented. They didn't really talk about the brothers too much. You know who the brothers are. Randy, Jackie, Jermaine, Tito, and Mike. That's the Jackson 5, right? Who was the other brother? There was one more, because there was 6 boys and 3 girls. But they don't really talk about the brothers too much, but you got to hear a lot of Jackson 5 music. Come on, ABC and I'll Be There and all that. Marlon, thank you. So Randy was the baby, right? Randy was the one that really wasn't in the band, but they let him play the bongos on the side of the stage. But it really was the 5, the core 5, that was the Jackson 5. I want to say what up to Thomas Rimsky for coming in the building and showing me some emojis. I guess you dancing. He said MJ is the GOAT. MJ as in Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson. Yes, they are the GOAT for sure. The Pepsi incident. Let's talk about the Pepsi incident as we be getting ready to round out an hour of me being live. So Michael had already done some solo albums and was, turning into the superstar that we know and love. He already was, Thriller was the biggest selling album of all time. And Joseph wanted to hop on this. He wanted to jump on this Michael Jackson training and capitalize off of it. So he put together a Jackson 5 tour called the Victory Tour behind Michael's back, according to the movie. I don't know, Hollywood sometimes makes things up to make things a little more dramatic. I wouldn't see why this wouldn't be true because of the type of dad Joseph was and because of how he was. But he put together the Victory Tour behind Michael's back, and Michael was just kind of like, he didn't want to do it, but he was like, you know what? I'm going to do this for the family. I'm going to do this for my brothers. We're going to go out on tour one more time. And then after that, that's it. Like, for real, for real. Like, I want to go and be on my own and do this Michael Jackson thing, but I'm going to do this tour. And on the tour, he sang his own songs anyway. So it was kind of like a Jackson 5 tour, but at the end of the day, really was like a Michael Jackson solo tour. So it was a win-win. It was a win-win for the brothers and for Michael at the same time, and the father as well, because everybody's making money. As part of a promotional thing, marketing thing that Joseph put together, Michael, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Michael was going to do a Pepsi commercial. And for those of you who don't know, maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but he was doing a Pepsi commercial. This is during the 80s. The Jerry curl is a very, very popular hairstyle with the Jerry curl juice all up in your hair. And Michael was walking through, singing his song, doing the Pepsi commercial, and there's sparks going off everywhere. And one of the sparks hit him in the head, caught fire, and with the Jerry curl product, chemicals and all of that, ignited and burnt him in the back of his head severely, like severely. You know what I'm saying? This was serious. Like, he could have died type shit. And, even to the day he died, he had a bald spot in the back of his head. So if anyone ever wonder why Michael Jackson wore wigs, that was the reason why he wore wigs, because his hair was burnt away in the middle of his head. And even, I believe it's dictated in his autopsy paperwork, if you've ever read it, that he was bald in the back of his head, and that he was wearing a wig. They also touched on the vitiligo. Some people believe, some people don't believe. It's in the autopsy report. He really did have vitiligo. Now, did he have full body vitiligo from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet? That's not my business. I never seen Michael Jackson naked. I don't know. All I know is Quincy Jones has been on record stating that Michael Jackson was bleaching his skin. Michael Jackson is on record stating that he did not bleach his skin. Here's what I think. And it's none of my business, and it really doesn't matter. But I think what happened was, just like, how some Hollywood actors and actresses, they get one plastic surgery procedure and then they just can't stop. They get addicted to it, and now their whole face just looks like a horror film. I'm not gonna name no names, but I'm sure just think about some of these older actresses from back in the days that was like really pretty or really popular and fine back in the days, like in the 80s and 90s or whatever. And then as they started to get older, they started to get less work. And then maybe they started to see their skin was sagging a little bit. So they went and get a little nip, and they went and get a little tuck. And then the next thing you know, you don't even recognize these people. And then they get old. So it's like you're getting old on top of the plastic surgery, and you just look like you got a mask on your face. I feel like, well, Lil' Kim, she did that shit and she wasn't even old. So I don't even have no excuse for that. I know she was insecure about her looks, whatever. But something to that extent, Rico. I think what happened with Michael, he already was super insecure about his nose. Even in the movie, they let you see and they show you that his father used to make fun of his nose. He was embarrassed of his facial features as far as his nose was concerned. So he went and he got a nose job. They actually touch on that in the movie. So it's not like they're trying to hide certain things about his life. These are things that we know. Michael, if he was sitting here today, might be like, I only had one surgery. Michael, stop it. Okay. I only had one surgery, and that's because I had to open up my nose. I think he said he opened up his airway so that he could sing better and hit higher notes. That was a good one though, Mike. That was crafty. That was crafty on your part to come up with that one. But anyway, he only had one surgery. Okay. Um, I think what happened was the vitiligo started spreading, a little bit. Y'all know what vitiligo is, when it removes the darkness in the pigmentation in your skin. So it started, think about Winnie Harlow, the model. It started spreading. And so he was trying to, at first, he was trying to cover up the white with brown so that he could stay brown. He wanted to stay brown, but the white was creeping through the brown. So I think he at first started like patching it up with makeup on his face to stay brown, and makeup on his neck and on his arms where the vitiligo was. But it started to spread. And my theory is somebody like a doctor or a cosmetologist of some sort put him on to the fact that, if you want to even out your skin, you can even it out to all be one skin tone, and then you won't have to put all that makeup on. And he probably saw, or he probably thought, like, rather than cover the white with brown, he would just let the white take over and make everything else even out and make his whole skin white. Why? I don't know. I do know that he didn't want to be white because he told us he didn't want to be white. He said it. He said, I'm black. I'm a black man. He even raised his 3 kids to say that they were black. Paris, the daughter, has a whole interview where she was saying, my father raised me my whole life saying that I was black. You know what I'm saying? And she is obviously a very white girl. Blonde hair, blue eye, white girl. And he raised her to be a proud black woman. So I don't think that Michael Jackson was trying to be white. I think he found out about a cosmetic procedure where he could bleach his skin, and he went with it. He had vitiligo anyway, and he just went with it. This is what these Hollywood celebrities do. They find out about procedures and stuff that we regular Jack and Jills out here in the world could never afford to do these type of things. Even if we wanted to do these type of things, we could never afford this type of treatment. We would never even know where to start. But because he was who he was, he had access to certain things and had the knowledge to find out that certain things could be done, and he ran with it. I have 17 tattoos. I get tattoos. Michael Jackson bleached his skin. I'm almost done because I did take notes. Okay, so the Pepsi incident, I forgot. With the Pepsi incident, they touched on that, and they touched on the fact that because of the Pepsi incident, he had to start taking painkillers. And as we all know, painkillers are very addictive. And he was concerned about that. He said he didn't like the way the painkillers made him feel. He wasn't really big on taking them, but he was in extreme pain. Imagine getting the whole back of your scalp, the whole back of your head burnt to the scalp with fire. You know what I'm saying? He had to take medication. And obviously that's the movie touching on the fact that he started to become addicted to painkillers. It doesn't delve into it full throttle. It just touches on it. It just touches on it just to put it out there and give us all a clue that these are the beginnings of how he became to be who he was in the future. So again, critics out there that are saying, oh, they sugarcoated him. They sugarcoated him. How is that sugarcoating? They just laying the foundation for you. Relax and be patient. There's gonna be a part 2, bruh. Ain't nobody trying to hide the fact that he was on drugs. He just wasn't on drugs yet in this particular part of the movie. He only just got burnt in the head and started taking painkillers, and that's what led him down the path of drug addiction. So we're not there yet. So those weirdos that's out there that's saying that this movie sugarcoats Michael Jackson and it doesn't show us who he really was, they either they didn't watch the movie or they just trying to sabotage the first opening weekend sales. That's how I feel. You're trying to sabotage the movie. Because if you've seen this movie, you would know why they didn't touch on certain aspects of his life, because they didn't get there yet. So stop trying to be a sabotager, and let these people finish telling the story the right way. Anyways, do I recommend that y'all go out and see this movie? Yes, I do. If you're a Michael Jackson fan, you're going to love the music. You're going to love Jafar's performances because he dances just like his uncle as best as he can. Michael Jackson could never be duplicated. There are some really good Michael Jackson impersonators out there in this world, though. I will say that. There are some Michael Jackson impersonators out there that could dance they little asses off, but it's just they could never act like him in a movie. They just dance like him. Now we need someone who can act, sound like him, sing like him, and perform like him in a movie, and that was Jafar Jackson. In my opinion. Coleman Domingo as Joseph Jackson did an excellent job playing Joseph. If you're familiar with these characters, then you know that they did a good job. Then you have like the white people, the record executives, the record producers, the lawyers, that are portrayed in the movie as well. You can't really tell, like, are they on Michael's side? Are they for him, against him? Or are they just all about the money? Probably a little bit of all three. You know what I mean? They're on his side and they want him to do well because they want the money. You know what I'm saying? So, and Nia Long playing Katherine Jackson, his mother, she basically was just there to portray herself as the loving mother who, you know what I'm saying? Just a loving mom who was always there to like stroke him, hug him, hold him, and tell him everything was going to be okay. So that's what Nia Long was there for. It's not like a breakout performance. I doubt she's going to get nominated for anything for this role. She was just there to be the loving mom. Like, Joseph, don't yell at them. Joseph, leave them alone. Michael, I knew you were special from the day you were born. Like, that kind of thing. It's not nothing iconic. It's not nothing to write home about. It's not nothing to jump up and down about. And the Jackson 5 brothers, again, they really didn't have too big of a role in all of this. They were just there because they are part of the Jackson 5, but they didn't have like speaking roles or anything like that. Like, we didn't delve into their lives or anything like that. This was strictly, in closing, this was strictly about the life of Michael Jackson from the age that he was when he started with the Jackson 5 until about the late 1980s. The late 1980s. The focus is purely on him and purely on the music that he created. That's what this movie is about. If you're looking for scandal, if you're looking for drama, if you're looking for sex, if you're looking for bedroom scenes and all of that, this movie is not for you, and you need to relax. You need to go take a cold shower. And with that being said, my name is UGoddess. I really do appreciate y'all for sticking and staying with me for this hour as we talked about the Michael biopic. I am fresh out the theater. Literally just watched the movie and came and jumped on the phone because I wanted to share my experience with y'all. Hopefully you go see this movie this weekend. Let's prove these critics wrong, y'all. I know the Jacksons are rich. They don't need no extra money, but I just want to prove the critics wrong that's trying to get y'all to stay home and not go see this movie. Like, let's make this movie do Bohemian Rhapsody numbers. Let's make this movie do Elvis numbers. Let's make this movie do Selena numbers and Ray Charles numbers. Like, let's do it for the biopics, y'all, because these people made good music, and that's really what it's all about. Music, good music, timeless music. Thank you, Rico. And with that being said, my name is UGoddess. Peace and love, y'all. Y'all be good. Go see the movie.